Before we dive into today's analysis, who do you think will take the win in this clash? Stay with us till the end for my prediction.
Real Madrid, one of the biggest clubs in the world, is traveling to the fortress of Mendizorroza to face a super resilient Deportivo Alavés. Now, this isn't just another La Liga match. No way. This is a massive, high-stakes clash. For Madrid, it's really about surviving a crisis. And for Alavés, it's about claiming a huge, historic scalp. We're going to break this down from every single tactical angle, and right at the very end, I'll give you my final score prediction. Okay, so here's our game plan. We'll start with the big question. Is Real Madrid in a crisis? Then we'll look at why Alavés is so tough to beat at home. After that, it's all about the tactics, the mismatch, the key battles on the pitch, and the different ways this game could unfold. And then, of course, we'll wrap it all up with a final verdict and that prediction I promised you. All right, let's get right into it, starting with the biggest story here. It sounds crazy to say, but we have to ask. Is Real Madrid, a global powerhouse, actually a club in crisis? Because even with that famous name, things are looking pretty shaky on the pitch, and the pressure is seriously mounting on one man in particular. And it's not just fan chatter. I mean, you're seeing reports from major outlets like The Guardian suggesting that manager Xabi Alonso's job is hanging by a thread. After a string of really poor results, this away trip to Alavés has suddenly turned into an absolutely must-win game for him. He needs this to calm the storm. And you can see the problem right here in their recent form. I mean, that 2-0 loss at home to Celta, that was a massive shock. But look closer, specifically at their away form. 3 draws in their last 4 games on the road. They just aren't finishing teams off away from home, and that pattern of dropping points is exactly what's giving Alavés so much hope for this one. And as if the bad form wasn't enough, their squad has been absolutely decimated. We're not just talking about a few missing players here. This is a full-blown crisis, especially in defense. They're almost guaranteed to be playing a makeshift backline. With key players out injured and others suspended, Madrid is basically traveling like a wounded animal. And the fact that their top scorer, Kylian Mbappé, is a doubt, well, that just makes things even worse. So we've established just how vulnerable Madrid is right now. So let's flip the script and talk about Alavés' biggest weapon, their ability to turn their home ground into the intimidating fortress of Mendizorroza. And this is so important to understand. Alavés are a completely different animal at home. They are organized, they're incredibly disciplined, and they just seem to thrive on making life miserable for visiting teams. That recent 1-0 win they had over a really good Real Sociedad side, that's their perfect blueprint. They just soaked up pressure, shut down a top attack, and ground out a huge win. You know they're feeling confident they can do the exact same thing to this depleted Madrid squad. But, and this is a big but, here's where things get complicated. Despite how strong they are at home, history is just not on their side. In fact, it's completely against them. Look at this. In the last 5 meetings, Real Madrid has won every single one. And check out the goals column for Alavés. 0, 2, 0, 0, 0. They've failed to score in 4 of those 5 matches. That is a massive psychological hurdle they're going to have to get over. So how is this whole psychological battle going to play out on the actual pitch? Well, it all comes down to a classic tactical mismatch. We're talking a true clash of football philosophies here. So on one side, you have Real Madrid. They'll probably line up in a 4-4-2, looking to control the ball, dominate the midfield, and rely on moments of individual magic to create chances. Then, on the other side, you've got Alavés in a super disciplined 4-1-4-1. That formation is designed for one thing and one thing only, to soak up all that pressure, stay totally compact, and then hit Madrid on the counterattack. And the main weapon Alavés is going to use to do this is something called the low block. Now, if you're not familiar with it, just imagine a team building a wall of players deep inside their own half. They basically shrink the pitch, closing down every little pocket of space and just suffocating creativity. It's designed to frustrate the heck out of teams that love to have the ball, like Madrid, and force them into taking hopeful, low-percentage shots from way outside the box. Okay, so we've got the big picture strategy. Now let's zoom in a little bit. Because games like this are so often decided by a few key individual matchups, and in Madrid's case, a really fascinating tactical dilemma that's causing a lot of debate right now. So here's the question that's being debated. Jude Bellingham is without a doubt a world-class player and a goal-scoring machine. But is the team's entire system, which is designed to get the best out of him, actually hurting the overall balance by kind of sidelining another amazing creator, Arda Güler? I saw this analogy from a fan online and I just loved it because it hits the nail on the head. When Bellingham bombs forward, basically acting like a second striker, Guler often gets pushed back into a deeper role. He becomes a workhorse. You're taking this player who is absolutely magical in the final third and asking him to do defensive grunt work. It's kind of like buying a Lamborghini and only using it to do short trips in a slow zone. It's just a waste of an elite weapon. So what this does is it creates a real tactical imbalance. The whole attack can become Jude-centric. It becomes predictable, relying way too much on his runs into the box, instead of having lots of different creative threats. It just blunts Guler's best skills and doesn't solve the team's need for a true playmaker pulling the strings. It's a structural problem that a disciplined team like Alavés is built to exploit. Okay, so keeping all of that in mind, the pressure on Madrid, the injuries, the tactical questions, and Alavés' strength at home, how does each team actually win this game? Let's break down the most likely ways this could all play out. When you really boil it all down, it's a fascinating contrast. Madrid's biggest strength is just the sheer, undeniable elite quality of their individual attackers. Their weakness? Well, it's that injury crisis at the back and that potential imbalance in attack. For Alavés, their strength is clearly that organized, compact defense at home. Their weakness? That awful head-to-head record and their history of not being able to score against Madrid. So, what's this going to look like on the day? I think there are three main possibilities. Scenario 1, Madrid gets an early goal. This is the absolute nightmare for Alavés. It forces them to come out and play, which is exactly what Madrid wants. Scenario 2 is what I'm calling the Alavés frustration. Their low block just holds firm, Madrid can't create anything, and it becomes a tense, tactical grind that's decided by one single moment. And then there's Scenario 3, the chaotic one. A mistake from Madrid's shaky defense, or an early Alavés goal just blows the game wide open into a thrilling end-to-end fight. All right, we have broken down the form, the tactics, the key battles, and all the what-ifs. It is time. Let's put all the pieces of this puzzle together and answer the big question. You know, this is what it all comes down to. It's one of the classic questions in football. What wins out? Sheer individual brilliance or solid collective organization? Can Madrid's superstars produce enough magic to paper over the very real cracks that are showing in their team right now? Okay, my prediction for this match is a very, very narrow 2-1 victory for Real Madrid. And look, I think this is going to be an incredibly tough, ugly, gritty match for them. Alavés is gonna make them suffer, and it will be far from pretty. But at the end of the day, I just believe that even a Real Madrid that's not at its best still has enough world-class talent up front to create 1 or 2 moments of quality needed to break down that defense and just grind out a massive 3 points. But hey, that is just my take on it. What makes a match like this so great is how unpredictable it is. So will the fortress of Mendizorroza finally be the place where Madrid's problems all come to a head? Or is their star power just too much to handle once again? I would love to know what you think. Drop your own predictions for me in the comments below.